Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk a little bit on violence and kind of share with you some of the experiences I've had and how it applies to different situations. And the thing is, and really it's mainly in three-man militia stuff, not so much the personal, because it gets pretty complicated, but I want to talk about how, because people in their thinking, a lot of people think that in a shit at the fan situation, what they're going to be doing is people are going to be shooting everybody and doing all this kind of stuff. And this is the type of stuff I want to talk about more in multiple people. Now, like I say, I lived in Guatemala 14 years. When I was down there, I traveled all over the place. I had to deal with a lot of robbers. Yeah, I would consider them a robber. A corrupt police, a corrupt military. People that want your money. They're a robber. You can put any kind of uniform on them you want to, but they're still a bandit, no matter how you look at it. And this is the kind of stuff I want to talk about. One thing is, these people that do this type of bad stuff, that's exactly what they are. They're robbers. They're bandits, stuff like that. They're not murderers. Now, the problem is when you are being robbed, you don't always know if these people are murderers. A lot of times, give me your money or I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? So, well, that's sounds good, but it's not that easy to do that. And like I say, let's just, right now, let's talk about the stops, checkpoints. Whether they're police, military, or like you say, you come around a curve, and then in Central America they would have logs on the road, or they'd have rocks on the road, something like that, where you can't just drive on over. So in other words, now they got you stopped. And some of the signs that they're not murderers is they really don't have, they want your money, and they might threaten you, but it's not always like that. For me, I told you what I do is I'll my money, I got my money like this, and then I'll drop it between the seat and the car, the door, and then so I have to open the door to get it, So, and when I step out, now I'm out of the car. When you're in the car, that's why I don't like seat belts. When you're in a car, you have few options. Once I get out of the car, now I got more options. So, and like I say, I'm not going to give you money. So then now it's time for them. Are they murderers? Okay. So far, every place that I've come up against, they haven't been murderers. I'm not saying there aren't any, but I'm just saying they're not. Now the next thing is, once I get out of the car, if they do choose to murder me, there's going to be a lot of blood all over the road. So that's a good sign there's a murderer there. So In other words, when you're driving up and you see these logs or big old rocks on the road and stuff like that, if there's blood all over the road, the chances of them being a murderer really increases. So you look for, that's one of the signs that you can tell. And but more than likely, they're not. They're just wanting money. And I say police, military is less likely to do it. I've only had one time military group did it, and I would guess they were just testing the water. Kind of like you mentioned me, you hear me mention opportunists. That's what looters are. Looters, they're not all bad. They are, when they start looting, all of them are bad. But some are opportunists. And so they see the opportunity and they start looting. So there is that. Now one thing about looters, when looters are like a herd of cattle. When a cattle gets spooked and then they all start running, it's hard to defend yourself against a herd of cattle like that. Now what you do on a herd of cattle, you can do it with gunfire. It's got to be really loud, louder than what the noise of the stampeding cows. So gunfire will do it, and you don't stop them. You make them move to one way or the other. Another thing would be fire. That would change your stampede. So these are the same tactics that you would use on looters. A mob is just kind of like a looter. I'd say in the old days I've had to deal with these type of people, and it was tough. I was young, I didn't know what I know now. So there's things like that you need to consider when you're dealing with this type of mentality. But in general, in a shit at the fan situation here in the United States, personally, I believe America is a moral country. Now we got a lot of people that have come and they are not as moral as the rest of us. And so I would say you'd have to be concerned about those kind of people. And then the culture, I've noticed now, you see the younger people, and I don't think there's a lot, but according to the news, the way the media gives them a lot of attention, and it says like it shows like there's a lot of them that are communist socialists. Communist socialists, their belief in God is limited. Their morals are very limited. Their value system is very limited. That's why a lot of them, you hear them talk about the self. They just take care of them. That's all they think of that is themselves. Okay, that's what I'm saying. They don't. That's a sign that somebody doesn't believe in God. They can say they believe in God, but you can go by their actions and you can see it's not like that. And I say this United States is a Christian-based country. That's what it started. But it's open to all religions. And as long as these, and this is why a lot of religions don't understand the Constitution. This is why I mention in the United States is so much different than the rest of the world. In the United States, what's first is God. And it's not necessarily the Christian God. but it makes sense. If you know and understand the Christian God, then the rest of it makes sense. So, but anyway, God is number one because He's given us unalienable rights. Okay, number two is we the people. And number three is the U.S. Constitution. This is why, and to make this work, it has to be with moral people. That's why you've seen, the United States has gone to hell, the government, because we've had immoral people in office. But that's why. But after a shit-fan situation, I would expect the most of the people you're going to encounter will be moral people in the United States. Even legal immigrants coming into the United States, one of the things that they're learning, whether they understand it or not, they're learning and understanding what being moral to others and moral to themselves and moral to their country means. That's how you can tell a true American. They got good morals. This is really a big thing. So I wouldn't expect people just to be shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. You're going to have these people, and these are immoral, ungodly people. Remember that. And they're not really true Americans. And so, now how many is, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's going to be that many. But there is at first, and we're going to have to weed them out. And but I wouldn't be concerned in the long run, providing we can keep our value system alive and strengthen it here in the United States. And like I say, the United States has done well in its short history because it's God's country. And if you understand that, it'll make things a whole lot easier. Even though people, they want to take God out of the country, when you do that, you're going to have problems. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.